in case you haven't guessed by now, we have a couple of special guests with us tonight. Natalie Baldock, who many of you know, and we have Renee, and we have Sharon as well. Now, if I can ask, I'm just going to... Okay. All right. Just going to unmute Nat and unmute Renee. Okay. Yeah, so Nat, Bronnie and I had a catch-up yesterday with more wine, and we had an opportunity to download about conference. So we thought it would be really great to be able to share with all of you guys. And Nat and Renee have been so great to give up their time tonight. So I want to thank you girls very much for giving up your time. To those of you who haven't met Natalie Baldock, I'm sure you've all heard of her. If not, yeah, if you haven't actually met her, she's actually been with the Juice Plus company now. Is it 2009, Nat, that you came on board? 2000?
I don't know. It's been 7 years. So I think it was 2000. I think it was 2009.
Yeah, and Nat was introduced to the Juice Plus company by Bron after meeting her at an expo. And Nat is a national marketing director. In fact, she's an executive marketing director and a 100 Club member. In fact, was the first 100 Club member in the last 10 years and was inducted into that Hall of Fame in 2014. We're all really, really proud of what she's achieved. Now, Nat actually attended her very first conference with me and Bronnie in 2010, and I remember that because I was pregnant with Soph and it was the most horrendous experience of my life, and then I went back for more. She came to Orlando as a sales coordinator, and I remember that because we went to Disneyland afterwards. And I was really proud to have both Nat and Bron at that conference with me on stage when I gave my NMD speech. So it was a really special time. And Nat has actually been to several conferences since then, and she's grown her business on the back of that. So Nat, before you kind of share the secrets and tips that you learned at the poolside in Arizona, I'd really appreciate if you could tell us why attending conference, both national and international, has been really integral to your business growth.
Oh, God. I think the only thing that we owe ourselves in the Juice Plus business is to get to these conferences. Not only, I've had all my biggest breakthroughs at conference. So I can basically give you a breakthrough from every single conference that I've ever had. It's been rare that I've never had one. I remember the first time I went to an Australian conference, I sat there and I watched Lauren Slocum speak, and she said she was approached in regards to the Juice Plus business multiple times for 6-7 years before she said yes. Then when I found out she was a co-author in Chicken Soup for the Soul, and she was very well connected to Tony Robbins, I sat in the audience and thought, why would someone like her want to join a party plan business? But in that moment, I realized it wasn't a party plan business, that it was a global company that was far more prestigious and far more reputable than I'd actually made up in my head. So my biggest breakthrough in that moment, I actually, in that first conference, I stood up and spoke from the audience and just said, I've just realized I need to get over myself, because I was sitting in that audience thinking that, why am I here? Why am I doing this? I didn't know why I was doing Juice Plus. I had no why. The only reason I signed into the business is because Bronwyn asked me to. It's the only reason I signed in. And I didn't know why I was doing it. And so that was my biggest aha in the very beginning. But one of my biggest ahas was when I first went to conference in the States with Tamara and Bron, and it wasn't about the conference content. I had no idea what I was taught. Zero idea of what I was taught. All I remember is having the most fun I've ever had in my entire life, and enjoying it with really inspiring and loving and beautiful people who believed in me when I was just a sales coordinator. And there's nothing, I don't even like saying just a sales coordinator, But now as a 100 Club National Marketing Director, that feels like so far away. It feels like a long time ago. But I was just a baby learning to be a business owner in a network marketing business that I had no idea about. And people believed in me then. And so conference for me is huge. Now, the biggest thing that happened this conference, and Renee can attest to this, it wasn't as much the content. The content was brilliant at the conference, of course. But you have to be really engaged and absorb all of that and take a million notes and ask a million questions and be at each sitting for each breakout. And that's what we did with the team. But what actually happened was in the hallways when you meet someone who's a 500 Club member, or you go into the toilet and you share a lipstick with Katie Ravey, or you sit by the poolside and you talk to Emma and Mike Snedden, who are putting on 5,000 customers a month, and they just love you, whether you do a little or a lot. And that's what I love about these conferences. It's who you meet and who you are inspired by. It's the connections that you make, and it's the learning that is not only in the conference, but outside in the corridors. So for me, it's no-brainer. The biggest thing that's going to happen to all of you is Melbourne. Now, I know from being at conference this year that all the big leaders around the world are all coming to our Melbourne conference. They want to know why we're moving like freight trains in Australia. So they're coming. Katie Ravey's coming, Luke Wren's coming, Jay Martin's coming, Paolo Teixeira is coming. He's just been given the co-owner title next to Jay Martin. Jay Martin's invited him to be a business partner with him. So we've got some big people coming, but not only that, I know there's people from Canada coming, people from the US coming, and people from the UK coming who are just coming to be guests. And some of those people have got businesses 10 times the size of mine who just want to come and see what we're doing down here, because not only do we have a very strong growth pattern in Australia, but we have a lot of love. We do things right here. We really do, especially in WA. We really do things in a beautiful, beautiful way. In Queensland, these guys are doing such a phenomenal job. They really are. They're really taking it to the next level. And I'm so proud of them, and I'm really pleased that they are teaching us things in Australia. We need to sort of catch up to that, but at the same time, we do things in WA with a ton of love. And, you know, I think it's going to be really important for us to go to that conference to grow and learn from everybody from all over the world and from the Queenslanders, because they're incredible.
Yeah, thanks, Natty. That's a really great insight. Can I just take a tangential step and ask you to sort of introduce Renee? And Renee, you can tell us a little bit about your step into the Juice Plus community. But you're also a conference virgin, and I'd really love, firstly, for Nat to introduce you, but then also for you to tell us your big aha moments that you got by going to the international conference. Natty? Okay,
so Renee is an amazing human being, the one that I love and cherish dearly. We met at another conference 4 years ago and made an instant connection. Renee's a lawyer, and she's one of those girls that is extremely strong and extremely confident and a beautiful big heart. And when I knew Renee, we were both vegans and eating a very strong plant-based diet, and I always thought Renee would be perfect for this, but every time I broached her about it, she would just shoo me away. And then a couple of weeks ago, I got my balls on and I said to Renee, you need to do this. And she kind of rebutted, but then I just threw her some what ifs, and now she's come on board. And I'm very proud to say Renee has been in the business 3.5 weeks. She hit SDVF fast track in 2 weeks, and she is moving like a freight train to sales coordinator. And she got on a plane and came to conference, and it's completely changed her life. So there you go, Ren. There's your introduction.
Thanks, Natty. Yeah, I mean, for me, I guess I saw this opportunity, and I left the law a couple of years ago, and I've been absolutely kicking myself that I haven't joined a business like this or this business before. Running my own business is really hard. Yeah, it's really rewarding, but it's challenging and you have to do everything yourself. So when this came along, I didn't realize just how much support there was, and really how beautiful the community is and how easy business can be. So when I jumped in, I thought, look, I can do it and I can just put in a half-baked job. But I know, looking back in my life, when I've done really well, it's been when I've put in 100% effort that I get massive results. And I thought, well, I'm not prepared to just do this half-baked. So I thought, the opportunity came up to go to Phoenix, and it's not really something which financially was a great decision for me, but I thought, well, I'll always figure out a way. I can make it work. If you need to make your mortgage payment, you will find a way to get that money to do it. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is just the little fire up my bottom that I need to get me going. So I went to Phoenix, threw myself into it, 100% commitment, and I'm so glad I did. Just like Nat said, well, the conference was awesome and the learning was great, but yeah, I've been to heaps of stuff before. I've been to Tony Robbins, I've been to all these things, and this was, on par with that. You had some great speakers there, but that wasn't the best of it. The best bit was the people and the connections. So Nat and Tracy Biggins, they're at my upline. They are so well connected. So we got there and we were treated like celebrities. We had, Danny Martin bending over backwards helping us out. We had Gordon Hester coming out and meeting up with us, couldn't offer to help us more. We met with John Holowati, all these different people because of who we were there with. But not only that, just, walking around in the corridors, or I went and had a break they were talking about a product that we don't have. So I was like, I'm just going to go for a walk. And then just had people coming up to me and talking to me. And those conversations are what conference is all about. So, we made some amazing connections, and those are people that I'll stay in touch with forever. And there's people that you can connect with and always ask for help from, and they want to help you. You see these rising stars and you just go, well, what's one little gem I can take from you? Or other people who are just plodding along and doing well, that's slow and steady, but well, what's working for them? How can I bring that back into my business and get the practical tools and skills to do that? The key takeaways for me were, it was great to go, and I think it's really important to go to conference because it shows you what's possible and it gets you out of what you're seeing where you are. We all share what we're doing, but we only know so much, and we kind of, I guess you close off your thinking a little bit because you only see what people are doing around you, whereas you go to conference and you see so many different things because they've got their own little niche and they've stuck in within their own thing, but it's different to what you're doing. So you're like, oh, that's great. I could try a bit of that and a bit of this and see what works. But everyone said the same things. All the people, no matter where they were from, they were saying, keep it simple. So no matter what you're doing, if it's not simple, if it can't be duplicated, you're doing it wrong. And it's all about your DMO. So from, some Emma Snedden, her DMO, when she was working a full-time job, all she had time for was to call or speak to 3 people a day. And that was her thing. And she got to be 39 club in 7 months by speaking to 3 people a day. That was her thing. And I'm like, are you serious? That's it. She's like, that's it. That's what I did. So she was on £10,000 a month within 7 months. So it's 20,000 Aussie dollars. Just from that really simple thing. Then there's other people. So we met another guy, Dave Sanderson, I think his name was, and he was saying he got to NMD in 4 months by speaking to 12 people a day. And then I guess the other thing which really struck me, particularly in America, I've been a few times before, but I haven't really been to the poverty-stricken areas. Phoenix is really poor, and whilst we only saw the nice bit, there was a lot of poverty around, and I think it's really important that we do share this business. We got speaking to our waiter one night and found out that he earns $2.36 an hour. So he was an incredible waiter. I've never been waited on like that before. But it was really sad. We asked about his story and what was pushing him to work 3 jobs and, working 15, 20-hour days every day was because he's got 4 children and he's a single dad, and his ex-wife doesn't work, so he has a lot that he needs to do. And I was like, there's an easier way. If you spent 5 hours a day building a Juice Plus business, you get ahead so much faster and so much easier, and you're helping other people on their health journey. And he didn't know about it. So, we've been in touch with him and we're telling him about the business, and if he wants, he could get involved too. But I just really feel like we've got such an amazing gift and we need to share this with people. I feel the product is infallible. I'm 100% believer in it. So I feel like it's so easy to share, and to not share it is doing a disservice to other people, I feel. So it's about, getting beyond yourself and getting over yourself and just having conversations with people, particularly people you think wouldn't be interested in the business, because they always are. I had 2 flight attendants on the way home that were so keen on the business. They're telling me how much they love their job, but then as you go deeper, it turns out, they love their job, but they don't make very much money. They want to keep doing their job, but they need something to support that. So I think it's really important. Don't ever make that decision for someone else, but share this gift and have a really strong DMO or a really good DMO that you stick to, and get to conference, because it makes such a big difference. The people you connect with, it's so powerful.
Yeah, beautiful, Renee. Thank you. You're so on fire right now, and obviously this has just put even more fire in your belly, which is really, really good to see. Natty, coming back to you, you said to me yesterday that the biggest aspect of your trip this time was 39 Club Retreat, where you had the opportunity to sit by the pool for hours at a time with the likes of Katie and Emma and Adam and Kira and the Gollies and Linda. Tell us a little bit about what you learned at the poolside and from whom.
Well, first of all, Christine had a banana in her hand and she was recording each one of us, and she was asking for our top 3 tips on banana TV. And she
Christine Drummond. Oh my God.
Christine Drummond. It was so hilarious. So she recorded all the big leaders. So she's got a video that she's going to share with all of us.
Awesome.
And she's piecing it all together. But it was the funniest thing, because we all basically said the same thing, but we just said it in a different way. But look, I did have 4 hours with Katie by the poolside, and we weren't talking the whole time, but we talked a lot. And I tell you what, it was so powerful. She's like, if you chase the promotion, then it's about you. But if you help somebody qualify their business and then find someone else and qualify their business and find someone else and qualify their business, you're making it about them. And all of a sudden, naturally, you'll have sales coordinator, senior sales coordinator, qualifying national marketing director, and NMD. And if you teach people the simplicity of finding someone and help qualify their business and repeat the process multiple times per month or multiple times per year, it'll eventually happen for all of us. And I loved that, because it was an upside down way of thinking, but it just was so simple, So that was a big takeaway. The second big takeaway was social media. We just did a half an hour call with Team B on social media, and it was super powerful. I've got about 10 messages on my phone that just says, wow, that was amazing. And everyone's getting out of their comfort zone with that. But the way we use social media, like we should be using video footage, we should be sharing our story, we should be giving each other our stories to share with other people. I mean, I don't have diabetes, I don't have a brain tumour, I don't have a skin irritation or a rash or digestive condition, but someone in our team might, and I can share their story on a private Facebook message with my potential customer. We should be helping each other leverage. The third thing I learned about what they do is they put people into large social media groups, like a fast track to SDVF group, and then a fast track to sales coordinator group, and then a road to NMD group. And then everyone talks to each other rather than individually contacting all our individual distributors and having the same conversation 10 times a day. They're just working a lot smarter than we are. The other thing is duplication. Sign someone up, Tell people these are the events we have per week. They're in the diary every week at the same time. We have a team call, we have a business event, and we have our monthly product event. These are the things that we build into. This is the method to success. The other thing is that it's a non-negotiable is conferences. It's a method to success. And then showing them how to fast track to SDVF, and then in the following month, show them how to qualify and repeat the process for someone else. Keep it super simple. And they also did something that I thought was crazy, and Tamara, you and I are turning over in our grave, but they make the product so simple. They say, I don't know much about the product. I just know that when I took it, I felt fantastic, and I just thought this would be something that you might find fantastic too. And I'm like, you don't explain it at all? And they're like, no, we don't have time. Why would you explain it? Oh my goodness. I was turning over in my grave, having conniptions and thinking, you can't do that. But the thing is, what they're saying is that they were just shifting our mindset to say, you don't have to be an explanation. You don't have to say the product's got this in it and this in it. You don't have to do a half an hour spiel. You can touch on 10 lives per day by just sharing something so simple and just saying, look, you know, Sharon's here with me now. She's my brand new franchisee and my really good friend. And Sharon's boy, Zach, had a profound experience with Juice Plus. His story, if Sharon shared that with 10 people a day and said, look, I don't know if this is going to work for you, but this is what happened to Zach. And this is what's happening to me. And that's all she shared. That would help inspire hundreds of people per week. And so what they were just saying over there around the poolside is that keep it super simple. Keep everything simple. Work smarter, not harder. Put people into groups. Let all your sideline buddies hang out and do events together. It doesn't have to be a certain way. Let everybody become one team, one mission. And I loved that. So I just found it a profound experience. I mean, I could share a million things with you, but I don't even know where to start. But all I can say is that the key messages we got was keep it simple, work smarter, not harder, be completely duplicatable. So keep these business events going that we're doing and keep doing them and keep to the script, make it really simple. And then the other thing is that stop being so precious about what's yours and start sharing everything with everyone, because it's going to help somebody, and that person will inspire everyone in your team. It's just share knowledge and share love, share knowledge and share love. It was just a profound thing. I mean, when Paolo sat with Tracy and I and told us he's putting on 35,000 customers a month in the team, I just fell over. I just thought, but Paolo, for 20 years you were a Q&MD. And he's like, yes, until I met two twin boys that were experts in social media because they're 22 years old. And they buddied up straight away. They started doing videos and selfie videos, and it just went nuts. So, you know, I found it amazing. I found the whole thing amazing. I'm so inspired. I feel like a new person.
Yeah. So what do you think? I think you've kind of answered this question. I was going to ask you, what do you think are the key things that your team and us need to implement over the next 12 months to really grow fast? And I think the key thing you and I were talking about yesterday is social media, you know, thinking a lot bigger than what we have thought before, thinking in the hundreds, not the tens or the dozens.
No. Okay. So I shared with Tamara and Bron yesterday, there is only 1 million customers, including distributors, on the product in the world right now. 1 million. Now let's think about this. There's 22 million in Australia. There's 340 million people in the US. There's 300 million in the UK, and there's multiple million in Europe. What I'm saying here is that we have an untapped global market, and we just keep saying. I mean, have you ever said? Just answer yourself this question. Have any of you ever said, oh, you know, everybody knows about Juice Plus in Perth now? You know what? It's like Jim Rohn says, there's not many arseholes on the planet, but they sure do move around a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with us, right? People in the wellness movement all move around and swing in the same circles. We've got to get out of our comfort zone and go outside the wellness movement and start working in the boondocks and start working in areas we have no connection to and start really branching out. And social media is one way. Another way is to start volunteering somewhere. Another way is to start joining sporting groups, things that you would never normally do, but you've always wanted to do, to like really start doing things outside of your comfort zone. Do something that scares you every single day or every week or every month. Do something, because really this is a psychology and it's actually an energy. If you actually break those barriers, things will happen for you. And that's exactly what's happened for me. I went into that 39 Club retreat really frightened, thinking, I'm only 100 club member, and these people are like 500 club members. What do I have to offer any of these people? You know, why would they want to talk to me? And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. They wanted to know about me and us as a team and us as WA and us as Australia more than I thought possible. They wanted to know, wow, you guys are doing it so lovingly. You've got an amazing community out there. You're doing it around food and nutrition. You're doing it as one big family. You know, what are you doing out there? And I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? So they would share their tips and tricks, and we shared our tips and tricks, and they're really eager to learn how we're doing it. So we are becoming one team, one mission globally. So it was really special. It was really special for me because I, you know, even as a great leader, guys, you have your insecurities. And what I learned is that there's no need to have any. We are all one big family and we can learn and grow from each other. And I am very honoured to be a part of this company. And I loved that 39 Club retreat. And I think everyone needs to aim for that because it was life-changing. It was even better than the conference itself for me.
So just on that note, Nat, what do you think are the big key things that you took home from conference itself? What were the big, like, oh, wow, I can't wait for that, or that's excellent, or, yeah?
The big things I took away from conference is that, A, doesn't matter what country we're from, we're all one big family. B, social media is key, that we need to start connecting globally from a different platform. And look, the call I did tonight on my Team B was the strategy and the tips and tricks around social media. So maybe we could do that in the next couple of weeks, Tamara.
Yeah, great.
We're going to talk about that anyway, and we can move into the how-tos and the what's around social media. But social media, and not being afraid of social media. You know, if somebody's going to slam your post, there's 900 people in my team and there's 2,000 in Tamara's team or whatever she's got in her team that will love you and support you. Think about us as a team that will support you, and don't worry about the one person that has a bit of a dig at your post. You know, I have a social media tip for all of you. I told Tamara this yesterday. If somebody says something negative on my Facebook page and says something yucky, I go, delete comment, delete friend. And that's probably, most of you will be so frightened to do that, but I have no time for anyone that wants to step in my way of helping humanity heal. So if you can get that in your heart and know that we've got your back and we love you, you've got nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so number 4, the conference, I learned that Gen X and Gen Y showcase things on social media differently. Gen X do experience. Look at my family. Look at my holiday. Look at my smoothie. And then Gen Y, look at my skin heal. Look at my weight loss. Look at my transformation. You know, they're like, wow. And people want that now because everyone wants change. Everyone's vulnerable and desperate and they want change. So how do we, as Gen Xers, modify our behaviour on social media to draw a Gen Y crowd? All we do is share the experience we felt in a transformation around a client. So I want you to meet Sharon, my beautiful friend, And I helped her with her son, and his health is far better off because I was able to be not afraid to share Juice Plus with her and her son. And now Zach's in a really good place. And I feel so blessed to be a part of a company that supports other people's growth and change. That's transformation. That's showing an experience and transformation on social media. So that was big for me. But the other thing is too, is goal setting is huge. And if you don't write down your goals, you're not going to have any. So if you don't write down what you want and you don't do a dream board and you don't stick it all over your walls of your office, then it's not going to happen for you. And the biggest takeaway is this: get off your ass. Seriously. If you're going to speak to one person a day, you might get one customer a week. If you're going to speak to 3 people a day, you're going to get 3 or 4 customers a week. If you're going to speak to 10 people a day, you're probably going to get 10 to 20 customers a week. It's up to you. It's not I don't like saying it's a numbers game. I'm saying it's an action game. The more action taken, the more results driven you will become. And so for me, I've contacted 38 people in the last 4 days. I've got at least 5 potential customers and 3 potential franchisees. And I'm still working on the other 30 that I've contacted. And so I'm going to keep doing that every single day. And I'm so sorry that I, as a leader, have let you down and shared Juice Plus with 2 or 3 people a day. If I share with 10 people a day, maybe we'll all share with more. So goes the leader, so goes the team. And Tamara and I both feel the same, is that for us, we need to step up so you can step up. So hand on my heart, that's what I'm doing this year, guys. And you can come with me or not, it's up to you.
Good work, Natty. Last question. What are you doing? What are the sorts of things that you're saying to have people commit to coming to conference in June?
Okay, for one, I'll give you an example. My Juicy Wellness Warriors, which is Nicole Gallis's leg, every single distributor has paid for conference in that team. Every single one. There's 18 of them. Why? Because they make it a non-negotiable. They create team culture and they make it fun. I'm talking to every single team member and saying to them, look, what I got in America is going to be 10 times more valuable in Melbourne, because these people are coming, they're paying their own way to come from the UK, from Canada, from the US, from New Zealand. The connections globally are going to be the most profound thing ever. You're going to learn so much. This is a no-brainer. The one thing that we do not have to do in our business is invest in marketing. We don't have to invest in staff. We have no overheads. The only overhead that we have is this incredible conference where it's a bucket load of fun. I mean, I do not find it fun to pay $10,000 a year in marketing. That's not fun for me. But to pay, the flights right now are $99 return to Melbourne, bunk in with 3 friends and pay $50, $60 a night in accommodation and come and be spoilt rotten. And if you haven't got any money to eat, live off complete.
Out of the dispenser in the conference hall.
Yes, it's free.
Nice, I love it.
I just say to everybody, the conferences are non-negotiable. I've got, and the other thing too is if you are a team builder, make sure you have 5 to 7 lines of people coming. Don't build all your guests in one line. Otherwise, you're going to have one line of growth. I mean, I have every single line committing to conference that is working the business. So I have 7 lines committed. I'm working on about 5 to 10 more before conference. I want to be 15 wide at that conference so I can inspire a very large growth in health in Australia this year. It's not about numbers. It's not about building my income, because you know me, I'm a simple girl. I drive a shit box of a car. It's not about money. It's about seeing people's lives change. you know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the conference is going to change everyone's life.
Yeah, yeah. And everyone who doesn't come is going to have major FOMO, because it is,
Yes.
It's a fun. And to everyone on the call, I've actually booked 2 service departments already, booked and paid for. So it'll be first in, best dressed for anyone who wants to come in and bunk in with me. And I'm organising hair and makeup for the night. So that's about as fun as I get. All right, guys. If anyone has any questions for Nat and Renee, can I just ask you to enter it into the chat so that we're not all talking over each other? Hillary, yes, big welcome to brand new franchisee Francesca. We've also got Steph Bourne on the call as well, who's brand new as well. Thanks, guys, for coming on tonight. Does anyone have any further questions at all for Nat or for Renee or even for Sharon? No. You guys have done an awesome job tonight. Thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the camaraderie and the love sharing. Yeah, you know, if the message is not greater that you guys need to be committing to coming to conference, you guys need to be thinking about St. Louis in October, or even, where is it next year? Anaheim, did you say? Anaheim, Disneyland? Disneyland. Who's coming to Disneyland next year? Yeah. Then, yeah, you know, you've got to put that in place now, because, you know, you're making an income from this, and you need to start investing some of that income into your future development. So, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to stop the recording.